今天大大阿姨要讲关于一只叫做乔治小猴子的故事。Curious George and the Birthday Surprise。那这是关于一个叫做生日惊喜的故事哦。This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today is a special day, the man with the yellow hat told George at breakfast.I have a surprise planned and lots to do to get ready. You can help me by staying out of trouble. George was happy to help. 这个叫做乔治的小猴子，他跟一个总是戴着黄色帽子的大叔住在一起，他们是好朋友。那这只小猴子呢，它很乖，可是它同时呢也很有好奇心。这个戴着黄色帽子的大叔今天在早餐的时候就告诉这个小猴子，他说今天是很特别的日子哦，我有一个惊喜要准备，那有很多事情要做，那你呢，你就帮我你不要捣蛋，那这样子你就是算是帮忙我了。那George 呢，他就很高兴，他觉得他可以帮忙。Later, while George was looking out the window and being very good, he heard some tinkling music. It was coming from an ice cream truck. George watched a whole line of children and their dogs enjoyed some ice cream treats. It looked like fun. 后来呢，乔治小猴子呢 ，George 呢，他就从窗户外面看过去，然后呢，他也是非常的乖，同一时间他非常的乖哦。他听到有叮叮叮叮叮的音乐声音，那他是从外面的这个原来是这个冰淇淋车子传出来的声音。然后呢 ，George 就看到有好多小朋友还有他们的狗狗就排队准备要吃一些很好吃的冰淇淋，然后看起来好有趣哦。But then the ice cream truck moved on. George forgot all about staying out of trouble and went to find some fun for his own. To find some fun of his own. OK， 那这个冰淇淋车一下子就走啦。那这个 George 呢，他就忘记说他不能捣蛋，要乖乖的，然后他就到处去找看有什么好玩的事情做。In the living room, George found noisemakers and hats and games. Could this be part of his friend's surprise? Before George could find out, he spotted some screamers, balloons, and colored tissues. He could not resist. 那他就在客厅里面发现好多东西哦，有这个哔哔哔的这个吹出来会哔哔叫的玩具，然后还有帽子，然后还有好多的游戏。然后呢 ，George 就想说，这个会是他朋友口中的惊喜吗？然后呢 ，George 还发现好多的气球，还有彩色纸，他实在是没办法忍了。Decorating was easy for a little monkey. Still, George was curious about the surprise. And what was that good smell coming from the kitchen? George followed his nose. 那这个装饰啊，还有把这些装饰品全部都装饰在这个客厅里面呢，对这个小猴子来说很简单。哇，你看他把它弄得好漂亮哦。跟上一页不一样，对不对 ？OK， 那 George 还是觉得很好奇啊，他就是觉得说，到底这是干嘛呢？然后呢 ，George 他突然又从这个厨房里面传来一股很香很香的味道，他就说这是什么味道啊？然后呢，他就跟着这个味道走到这个厨房里。It was a cake, and it looked as good as it smelled.All you needed was frosting. George had seen his friend make frosting before, but today his friend was busy. Maybe George could help. He could frost the cake himself. 原来是一个蛋糕啊！ 它看起来好棒哦，跟闻起来一样棒。那它还少了一些什么呢？它少了这个奶油。George 呢，他有看过他的朋友做奶油，之前自己做。但是他今天的朋友很忙啊，今天他朋友这个穿黄色衣服还有帽子的这个大叔很忙。那 George 就想说，那他要帮忙哦，那不然他就帮这个大叔来把这个蛋糕放上奶油好了，把它完成。那他现在就要做奶油了。First, George put a bit of this in the mixing bowl. Next, he added a bit of that. Then he turned the mixer on. 那接着呢 ，George 他就放了一点这个，在这个碗里面，那又放了另外一个，放了另外一些什么东西。然后呢，他就把这个搅拌机给打开了。The frosting wheeled around and around. 这个搅拌机就开始打呀，搅拌。It was whirring too fast, but when George tried to stop the mixer, it only went faster and faster and faster. 这个搅拌机打得太快了。那这个 George 他想要把这个停下来的时候呢，这个搅拌机只是越来越快。Oh my God!George lifted the beater out of the bowl. Frosting flew everywhere. 那 George 呢，就把这个搅拌机、这个搅拌器拿起来，结果这奶油就到处乱飞了。Poor George. He did not mean to make such a mess. He had only wanted to help. Now, how could he clean up the sticky kitchen?这个可怜的 George， 你看 ，he is in trouble。他朋友叫他不要捣蛋，他不小心弄成这样子，厨房乱七八糟、黏滴滴的。他只是想要帮忙而已啊！现在他要怎么把这个厨房黏滴滴的厨房清理干净呢？怎么办呢？ Just then, George heard the tinkling music again. The ice cream truck was coming back up the street, and George had an idea.Quickly, he opened the door. 那就在这个时候 ，George 呢，他听到外面又有叮叮叮叮叮那个 ice cream 冰淇淋的车子又回来了。然后呢 ，George 就想到了一个好办法。接着他很快的就把这个门打开了。Wow! And invited all of the dogs in for a treat.In no time, the kitchen was as clean as a whistle. 接着呢，他就想到了这个办法，他就去街上把那些狗狗呢都邀请进来这个厨房里面，让他们吃这些奶油。然后呢，没多久，这些狗狗就把这厨房给舔干净啦，就非常非常的干净咯。Good idea, George.When the dog finished their snack, George took them back outside. The ice cream truck was still there, and so was his friend. 那 George 呢，他就把这些狗狗放回到大街上啦。他们吃完了这些好吃的奶油之后，他们就把它放回去。那刚好呢，这个冰淇淋车还在外面，他的朋友也在那里呢。George,said the man with the yellow hat. I've been looking for you. It's time for the surprise. George had found hats, gowns, decorations, and a cake. He was curious. Was the surprise a party? George, 这个戴黄色帽子的大叔，他就说：“我在到处找你呢。现在呢，是时候，是惊喜的时候咯。我们要准备来干嘛呢？”George 呢，他有看到帽子，还有玩具，还有很多装饰品，还有一个蛋糕。他很好奇，难道这个惊喜是一个派对吗？是一个 party 吗？ Yes, it was a party. George was happy to see all of his friends. They were glad to see George too.What great decorations, Bill said. What a lot of presents, says Bestie. 果然这是一个生日 party 呢，是 party. George 呢，他很高兴，他可以看到他所有的朋友，然后呢，他的朋友也非常高兴的看到 George 哦。哇，这个 Bill 这个小男孩就说，这些装饰真是棒啊，真是好漂亮哦。然后呢 ，Bestie 这个小女孩呢，她就说还有好多好多的礼物诶。Why don't you play some games with the guests, George? The man with the yellow hat suggested.I have one more thing to do. 那这个戴着黄色帽子的大叔就跟 George 讲说：“你干脆先跟你的这些朋友们一起玩吧。”他说：“我还有事情要做。”这个戴黄色帽子的大叔呢，就偷偷摸摸的跑走了。When George's friend came back, he was carrying a cake covered in candles.This wasn't just any party, it was a birthday party. But George was still curious. Whose birthday was it? He watched to see who would blow out the candles. 然后呢，当 George 的黄色帽子大叔朋友回来的时候呢，他就发现他拿着一个好漂亮的蛋糕，上面插满了所有好多的这个蜡烛哦。原来这不是只是一般的 party， 这是一个生日 party。但是呢 ，George 呢还是非常的好奇，他说：“这到底是谁的生日啊？”他想要看看到底是谁会吹这些蜡烛。The man with the yellow hat put the cake down right in front of George. That was a surprise.It was George's birthday. The party was for him. Everyone sang happy birthday. Then George took a deep breath. 结果呢，这个戴黄色帽子的大叔就把这个蛋糕放在 George 前面。哇，原来是 George 的生日啊 ！George 真是一个惊喜，他一点都不知道。然后呢，大家就唱生日快乐歌。那 George 呢，他就深呼吸，然后呢，他就许了一个愿 ，Happy birthday, George! He made a wish. 他许愿了。The end.